Hey everybody, it's DT back with another statue review and unboxing. Today we have one of my most anticipated pieces. This is the Prime 1 Studio 1/3 scale Grim Knight statue by Jason Fabok. Very excited for this piece for many reasons, one of which is I own the original art that this statue was based from. If you guys missed my unboxing of this masterpiece right here, you can go check it out. Basically, I purchased the original artwork for the cover of Batman Who Laughs #1, which featured the first appearance of this guy right here, the Grim Knight. One of my favorite pieces of artwork in the collection. And to be honest, I wasn't really sure if I was gonna pick up this statue when it first came out. I thought it looked great, but I have this kind of love-hate relationship with 1/3 scale statues. I think they look amazing. However, they are so huge and take up so much room. I didn't really know if I could fit it in my collection. However, after I picked up this piece of artwork, I knew I had to have the 3D version as well. So here it is, it finally arrived. I paid for economy shipping for this guy, so it took a little bit longer than I was hoping, but here it is, finally made it to the house. I actually own a bunch of other Grim Knight things like comic books, Funko Pops, which I will show you guys later in the video, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this away for now and we'll focus on the statue. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the Grim Knight, or you're wondering why I'm wearing a Punisher t-shirt for a Batman video, basically he is Bruce Wayne from another universe who adopted the use of guns after he killed Joe Chill when his parents were murdered. He is a very skilled fighter and assassin, and unlike Batman, who doesn't like to use guns to maim or harm, he's not afraid to do any of that. So he is sort of the combination of Batman and Punisher in the DC universe. So this thing, unlike other 1/3 scale Batman statues, only came in one big box, and that's mainly due to the fact that he doesn't have a cape. This is the bonus version, which comes with a signed art print. It's the Museum Masterline, the Grim Knight, part of the Dark Nights metal line. I do have the Batman Who Laughs, and I'm probably gonna stop with this guy. They have a bunch that look really good. I just don't have the room for them. On the side, we've got some more art, and then we've got a slightly better look at more of the statue here on this side. So that was a look at the box. Let's go ahead and open it. All right, so right on the top, we have our assembly instructions. We've got all the pieces here on one side, and then we have many steps on the other side. There are a lot of guns included with this statue, so we're gonna have to figure out and make sure they all go in the right place. So this is one box, but it is a very heavy box. There's a little section on top that we have to open first. All right, so it looks like this might be our print. I did see some other folks opening this up, and I have to admit I was a little disappointed to see the size of this thing. Now, I own several Jason Fabok signed prints, as well as the original art, and they're all 11 by 17. So when I saw this one come out, and I think it's closer to an 8.5 by 11. I was kind of looking for something a little bit bigger, but you know, I guess I can't complain. This thing didn't really cost any more than the regular version. Maybe they couldn't do an 11 by 17 for licensing purposes. It does have the Prime 1 Studios logo along with DC Warner Brothers on there, but there it is. Looks just like the cover from the comic book, and there it is, signed in silver pen right there on the bottom left-hand corner. All right, so in here we've got several guns. Warner Brothers didn't allow Prime 1 to advertise this statue with all the guns. Luckily, there were some in-store early prototype pictures that showed it with guns. I think you definitely need them in order to make the most of this piece. So that's everything in this small little section. Let's get into this next layer and let's see what we have in here. Could it be more guns? Oh, look at this one. Here is the one he's holding in his left hand. Very large gun, right hand. Alternate left hand, alternate right hand. Yeah, this guy's not all about guns. He's into blades as well. Feels like a real metal blade on this one. This one, not so much. Got a very heavy and padded Grim Knight arm. Another one. Got another arm, more guns. green gun, holstered gun. There's a little mask that he has. Another holstered gun, smaller holstered gun, fist, some spare ammo, another empty hand, another holstered gun, a little dagger. Looks like that's it for that layer. So we got the Grim Knight, we got the base. So torso and legs all in one piece. It's really packed in there. All right, guys, there he is. Oh, I just poked myself with his boot. Those things are sharp. But he's got like a big keyhole there on his foot. Probably just stand up on his own. And all of these guns here. Boom. Looks like he's got some padding, armor. Just like the Batman Who Laughs, we got some chains. These are not real chains. These are, I guess, kind of a PVC chain, plasticky chain. They look real. They're just lighter weight. Got another pad here. Oh, this is the Batman Who Laughs hand. So we get kind of like a full Batman Who Laughs bust as part of the base. There. Let's give him his hands too while we're at it. Boom. Now we have our Grim Knight portraits. Kind of have a covered up mouth portrait. Then we have sort of more the Batman portrait right here with his mouth showing. All right, and then all we have left is the base. Base has some chains on it as well. Got all the ammo here. Let's go ahead and get rid of this styrofoam. All right, now that I have everything over here, I need to move it so I can put my turntable down. So put the base on. Okay, here he is, the Grim Knight. Starting off, we have this pretty amazing base. Not only do we have all the different guns in the back, we have a half body of the Batman Who Laughs. I actually took the head off of my Batman Who Laughs statue, and it's almost identical to this one. All the great details are there with some added stone texture to make it look like it's a statue. We have all the straps and texturing in his clothes. Getting this statue is almost like getting two characters in one. We also have these two sculpted skulls flanking him, along with all these bullets. The rest of it is sort of a museum platform style base. On the back here, it does have the Batman logo, and then we have all these chains running all over the place. And that was probably the hardest part in setting this whole thing up. It's not too hard now that I look at it. However, you had to figure out which chains had the loops on it, and each loop went around the barrel of each gun. Then it kind of loops around and goes through his hands, and you actually have to connect the ends of the chains onto the base with these little nails that they included. They're not real nails, but they kind of look like rusty nails. But I think it looks really cool, and it's gonna pair up very nicely with the Batman Who Laughs statue, which also has a bunch of chains on it. As if he wasn't holding enough guns, we kind of have this fan array of artillery on the back. We also have this metal sword coming out of the middle. It's kind of a cool addition. However, it might be painful if he tries to sit down. Moving up to the Grim Knight. This guy is full of detail, not only with the weapons that he has, but also in his clothes as well. Starting off, he's got these very cool combat boots. We can see all the detail there with the laces, the folds in the leather. And then going up, we have all these little straps, the little sharp fins coming out of the sides. Now that's one thing about this statue you have to be careful of. Batman's got these fins all over the place, a lot of pointy things that you might get poked on if you're not careful, but very heavily armored. These knee pads and shoulder pads look very cool. They've got these kind of elastic straps on the back, and then he's also got a few pouches, clips. He's got this kind of short sword on him. We've not only got 2 guns in holsters on his hips, but he's also got the 2 holstered pieces there on his upper torso as well. More clips on his harness, a big armored chest plate. He has 2 guns up here that you have to key into his back, and then you have to key in 2 more guns onto the guns you just keyed in. So he's got 4 guns total coming off the top of his back. And meanwhile, he's got another large green gun attached to the straps, hanging from his body harness. So I don't know how this guy moves around. Then in his hands, he's got 2 large guns. Now they did change the guns up a little bit from the original cover. It's still got the same effect. Then I've got this portrait on. This is probably the one I'm going to be using just because it matches the cover a little bit better. I know a big criticism of this piece was kind of the monotone color here. People didn't like that he was all black. It was a dark statue and he might get lost in the collection. But I mean, this is the Grim Knight. He's black. I don't really think color lends itself all that much to this piece without sacrificing kind of the essence of the character. The base does have some pops of color, as does the main statue with these pouches, the different colors of metal in there, the different colored guns. There are enough variations for me to appreciate this paint application. I also think the flesh on his face is kind of a nice bright element that doesn't cause his head to get lost in the darkness. I'm gonna go ahead and switch it out just to show you guys. So first we remove the head, then we remove the little mask here, which is already on this one. You can stick it on. There you go. A little less color variation there. It does create a more menacing, evil look to him with his face being covered like that. But again, I'm probably not going to be using it just because I got this statue to go along with the art. But who knows, I might switch it out every now and then. We have a few different hand and arm switch outs. So the first thing we can do is switch his hands out for the empty hands. So we can remove his 2 big rifles. And then we can put these hands in. That kind of looks not so good. So this one just looks like he's holding nothing. Like he looks like he should be holding a gun, but he's not. It doesn't really look like he's fighting. I think these hands were meant to go on the straighter arms. Let's go ahead and switch the arms out. Before we do that, I'm gonna remove this little rifle on the back because it's likely to get bumped off by the arms. Take this arm out, just like that. All right, then the shoulder pad goes back on. Let's give him the empty hand. That looks even weirder. I think this piece looks a little bit better symmetrical, whether you have both arms up or both arms down. Here we have the version with his arms down with the empty hands. I think it looks a lot better this way than with the hands up. However, it feels like it's missing something without guns in his hand. So I don't think I'll ever be using these empty hands. I usually always keep the switch outs handy just in case, but I don't think I'm ever going to use those. Let's give him these guns. These are smaller. They match to make a very symmetrical look. And I think this option looks fantastic as well. So I actually have another variant cover. This one is a Del Auto cover. And as you can see, he's kind of got these guns. This pose looks actually more like this cover than it does the Fabok. He's kind of got the guns flared out to the sides while down. The only thing is he's not turning his head to the side. This one does seem a little bit more compact, less likely for anybody to walk by and knock into it. I almost want to get two of these guys just so I can display one like this and one the other way. I know a lot of people like this portrait because it is so dark and gritty, but I like this one mainly because you can see part of his face and it kind of breaks up the monotony of the darker tones. He does look a little bit meaner than Batman, but Batman can look pretty grumpy too in some of those. So these are pretty strong magnets. It also has a peg in it, so you do have to pull on it with some force. And of course you don't want to pull on it too much and wind up breaking something. All right, so we're gonna put this arm back on. One hand down, one hand up. I think it works, but again, I just think it looks better with symmetrical arms. A little bit more balanced and a little bit more intimidating if you were to see this guy standing at the end of an alleyway. The shoulder pads also do a good job at hiding the seam where the arm meets the shoulder. It is a pretty tight seam. However, once you put the shoulder pad on, you can't see it at all. It just looks like the strap. The rifles here do come out quite a bit further than the Batman Who Laughs here. So having those arms down is going to save you some of the depth. The actual footprint of the base looks very manageable, but if you are putting it in an enclosed case, the arms down with these smaller guns might work a little bit better. So this guy completes my Grim Knight collection. Let me show you guys some of the other cool stuff I have. Okay, so here is this guy next to the original art. I think they did a fantastic job at kind of taking this 2D image and bringing it into 3 dimensions. Of course, I do have the comic books as well. I've got this one graded, and then I have the signed copies of 3 different versions of this cover, all signed by Jason Fabok. And then of course we have the print that I put in my small art portfolio. Finally, I have this guy. This is my Hot Topic exclusive Grim Knights Funko Pop. As you can see, he's holding a dagger, but he's got all the same cool details that this guy has. Maybe not all the details, but he's got all the weapons. Comes in this cool black box as well. So there you go, guys. That was my Grim Knight collection. I think it's one of the coolest Batman statues that I own. I think I even like this more than the Batman Who Laughs, but I think they're gonna make a nice duo. I'm just gonna have to find a place to put both of them side by side. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Stay tuned, I will be doing a collection tour coming up soon. I'm gonna be breaking it down into smaller bits, and then we'll do a whole thing where I show you everything I have. Ever since I started this channel, people have been requesting that video, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.